Hello, my name is Aaliyah Sherrick. I am the Precision Farming Specialist with Bane-Welker in Remington. Today we are going to do a header height calibration. We are hooked to a Case IH C500 series cornhead, and this is an 8-row that we will be doing this calibration on. So now we're going to just go through the header settings on the Pro 700 monitor. So from our main run page here, I'm going to go to the back button, toolbox, hit the right arrow once, and on this head 1 tab I'm going to select that. This will be our first page for our header settings. So we'll just go in here and verify what we are set up here for. Maximum work height, that's going to be the percentage or the level at which the header starts and stops recording our acreage, basically our acreage area counter. So at 57% is when it will turn on and off. This is a cornhead. We are a rigid frame. Total rows is 8. Rows in use is 8. So we are using the whole cornhead. Row spacing 30 inches. Auto cut width we want on in this example. We want to be able to record all area of our head when we are in operating mode. It will automatically adjust our acres based upon how many rows we are using or cutting at the time. And that all looks good. Head 2. Header sensors, we want those enabled. Height in our tilt response, we want set at normal. Again, if we have more demanding field operations as we're going through the field and want to set that to fast, we can do so. That's basically going to be a quicker response to react to anything, obstructions on the ground. Scroll down, just verify these settings again. Down again, we do have hydraulic deck plates, so we want to make sure that that is set properly. We do have reel end dividers. So we want that set to yes. And those are the basic settings that this cornhead requires. If you are hooked to a different cornhead, obviously you want to make sure that those settings are properly set according to the header you are hooked to. Next, we're going to hit the back button and go to calibrations. And we're going to perform our header calibration from the drop down, make sure a header is selected, and we'll acknowledge the pop-up, and we're going to perform it. So pulse the header down. The display here does go over the instructions step by step, so we will just follow those on-screen directions. Pulse the header down. Pulse the header up for step 2. Pulse the header down again. And then the last step is step 4. We're going to pulse the header up. Now do not be alarmed when the header is actually lowering during this step. This is completely normal and what is supposed to happen. This setting is basically going to determine upper and lower position of the header sensors and also do its tilt. Now this is indicating that the calibration is completed, and we will walk through setting our set points 1 and 2. So now I'm going to set my set points for the cornhead. Going to engage my separator in my head. It is already going at this point. And I'm going to lower the head to operating position. And basically for this, we just want to make sure that the snoots of the cornhead are just basically floating the ground. Is kind of where we want that. So I'm going to set that as my set point 2, and then I'm going to raise my head to the position at which we will be turning around in the field as my set point 1. And then with this, I'm also going to make sure that my maximum work recording is set to this position as well. So I'm going to go to back in toolbox. We'll go to our head 1 tab and maximum work height. I'm going to set that to my current position and press enter. And now my acreage counter or work recording will turn off at my programmed set 1 position. And now I can demonstrate using my return to cut mode, which is my resume switch, and that should bring us back down to operating position, which it does. And then hit the button again, and I will see that the head is raised at the set 1 position as I have just set. Now, this next part of the video, we will go over what it is like if we are coming up to an obstruction in the field. So I'm going to lower my header again at the return to cut mode, and we can tell that we have achieved that position when we see the icon over here, the header with the squiggly line underneath of that, and that indicates that we are at our operating position. So as we are going through the field, if we come to an obstruction such as a rock, those sensors will detect that and will allow the header to raise and respond to that obstruction without, plowing into it. So we will demonstrate how that is done. And if the sensors are set up properly, once it passes that obstruction and that sensor no longer detects that object, then the header should return back to level out and return back to operating position. Okay, here we have the header height sensors. There's actually going to be 3 located across this head, both on the outer snoots and then 1 on the very center snoots. And this is what's going to determine our height as we get closer to the ground. Another thing we can do if we're not in the field to test out to make sure the header height sensors are working, we can lift the head to a certain position here where we're above the ground, and we can tilt the head one way or another. So for example, I've tilted it to the right in this instance, and then I can hit my return to cut button, and it should level out the header back to operating position. And that indicates that the sensors are properly communicating.